Well, I like spaceships, and I like the people that make spaceships, and I like showcasing their development. But I hear you. So let's move things forward and discuss the new concept vehicle that's making its debut this Saturday, the RSI ARRASTRA.
Oh, cool. So there we go.
Last year for CitizenCon, we did a vote to decide what vehicle you wanted to see next, and the winner was the mining ship. So what we ended up doing is
So I was hoping that we'd do a mid-sized mining ship between the Prospector and the Mole. Apparently it's not gonna
large RSI mining ship, which has turned out to be the RSI ARRASTRA.
What is ARRASTRA?
Absolutely no idea.
A primitive mill that's used in grinding ores, I think.
The name ARRASTRA derives from the ancient mining tool and technique.
So in Star Citizen, we have a number of mining ships already. We've got the Prospector, which is kind of like your starter outer. The Mole is that kind of first multi-crew ship. It allows you to go out with a few friends and kind of...
Yeah, but I still think that there is room between a Mole and a Prospector, and it's something that they haven't done, and that's unfortunate.
Try and work a profit together. And then the top of the scale, we've got the Orion. That's the kind of end game of mining. Yeah. And we saw this gap between the two. So the RSI ARRASTRA is the ship that fills that gap.
Okay, well, it definitely looks like an RSI
So the ARRASTRA
ship.
kind of combines the core visual elements that we've kind of developed over the years of RSI. It still has that definite triangular arrowhead shape to it, so it still feels at home within the RSI.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an RSI ship. It has this little RSI cockpit with all the struts on top, of course, right? But it also looks like a capital ship more than a mining vessel.
My family, one of the things we struggled with a little bit at the beginning when concepting it was we didn't want it to feel too sleek. It really needs to feel like it had a functional purpose. And that really led us down, exposing a lot more of the industrial elements. We've built on the idea of RSI layering in their ships to kind of really expose the core framework of the ship down the central kind of columns.
It also has a much more comfortable habitation for the crew to live on. It's got plenty of utility on board for day-to-day life.
Yeah, which is not the case in any of the mining ships that we have. Definitely not the Prospector. The Mole is not a very comfortable ship either.
As well as a place to actually land additional vehicles in the back.
Okay. Quite a big installation.
It has everything you need to spend a large amount of time away from dock, away from station. It's got an onboard refinery. It's got a
nice, so you'll be able to go and sell your own goods without going to the refinery. Very good.
Large amount of ore storage as well as onboard cargo. It's a kind of big, serious mining ship, and it allows for a crew of up to 5 to kind of go out and really kind of step into that professional level mining outfit without requiring, you know, a big capital ship.
We have
a crew of 5, so yeah, you're definitely going to need some people out there to man all those mining turrets. These look like remote mining turrets, aren't they? Let's see. Oh, pressing space doesn't work.
Multiple stations for different people to actually mine at the same time as each other.
They're all sat together in a very RSI-like bridge section. The remote turrets that are on the ARRASTRA all...
Yes! Remote turret, not like the Mole, where actually you are exposed to space and the outside environment, which is terrible. Oh, yes. Yes, that's going to be definitely a much more enjoyable ship than the Mole.
All have some level of transformation in terms of their location. The 2 at the front can slide backwards and forwards along, so you don't require the pilot to have to go left a bit, go right a bit.
But then we also have a large one in the center, which can descend through the middle of the ships.
Can actually transform down through the ship and out the bottom to cover the underside. So really you can mine in 360 degrees with this ship.
And as it cuts through the ship, you can actually see the turret as it travels from one side to the other.
And then additional crew members can help either position the ship if they want to change location or deal with the mined goods at the rear of the ship in the cargo bay.
So basically what they mean is that just like with the Mole, you could in theory solo the ARRASTRA by using, you know, those turrets that can go all around, right? You just position your ship, and once it's there, you don't need to move the ship, which is the big drawback with the Mole, is that you always have to move the ship, and it's so annoying. You're not gonna need to do that with the ARRASTRA and that big turret, and that is wonderful.
But the ship can also hold ground mining vehicles. If you are planet side, some of those crew members could take mining vehicles that you've stored aboard out and do some surface mining whilst the ship hangs around nearby to tackle some ground mining rocks. So this ship is really perfectly placed for people who want to go mining but don't quite know what they're going to encounter along the way. They are equipped to tackle anything on the surface.
So for example, let's say that you have your refinery is full, right? And you are not going to be able to mine anything because the refinery is busy and all your pods are full. You can go on the ground and go do some ground mining, and when the jobs are finished, you go back to your ship. The cargo has been filled with SCUs of ore that has been refined, and you go back mining.
Anything on space.
One of the benefits of concepting the ARRASTRA now is that we know a lot more about our game, a lot more about how mining works and kind of features in the game. That gives us a much better understanding of...
And what people do with mining as well. Let's not forget that too. They have all that data about player behavior, player activity, and they know what people like, and so they're designing a ship based on their knowledge of what people like, and that's awesome.
What's important for a mining ship, and that's one of the things that we'll take on to when we kind of deliver the Orion in the future.
So this is a great example of how development on some ships improves and expedites others. Compared to the Orion, this bridges the gap in a few nice ways. It leverages all the existing mining loops and mechanics that we have in game at the moment, whereas the Orion is going to be solely mining in space. It is a big...
Yeah, but... and the Orion is a capital ship, right? It's going to be extremely huge. It's it's like a flying space station.
Ship designed for sitting out in deep space, mining big asteroids. It won't be capable of going down to planet size and mining on there.
What we kind of learned from the Orion is that a lot of our RSI ships feel very, very aggressive. They feel very military and fast. And if you think of like a big industrial mining ship, the Orion is kind of the opposite to that. It's huge, kind of bulky ship.
Man, look at all those cargo boxes. These are cargo boxes, right? They look like around those engines. I could be wrong, but it's very impressive.
It's very purpose-built. And what we want to do with the ARRASTRA is take the lessons that we'd learned from that and combine that with some of the more modern RSI art styles and manufacturing techniques.
The ARRASTRA is the sort of all-in-one mining ship.
Yeah, they're not saying how many SCUs it's going to have, because it's got the refinery already, so that's going to take some space, which I think, as a result, the cargo area is not going to have. So it's probably going to have a little more than the mole, but I don't see anything in the 200s.
You've started hand mining at the very start. You've progressed to, say, a rock as the next step, then a prospector, then a mole. This is the big step that lets you do a bit of everything. You can mine, you can refine, you can transport. And then if you want to go even deeper into that, then you go off to the Orion at the end.
Nice.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the SRV is another fine addition to the working class gameplay Argo always seems to specialize in. That the RSI ARRASTRA wants to be the next big step in the evolution of mining gameplay before its even bigger Orion sibling arrives farther down.
So I'm waiting until the end because people said ERA, the end is excellent. So let's see.
And that IAE continues to be the biggest ship and vehicle event of the year. But it's also Thanksgiving. And today, while we continue to always give thanks to you, the citizens of the verse who make all of this possible, I want to give a special thanks personally to the folks behind the ships. Now, all of the ships and vehicles in Star Citizen are only made possible by the variety of content, gameplay, and feature teams all contributing to their look, feel, performance, and overall experience. Despite a few YouTube comments that seem to think Dan McCabe makes some of these things all by himself. Because there's like 62 people on the vehicle content team alone. If only there were a way to make everybody remember that. Perhaps with the power of song. All right, relax. I wouldn't do that to you. Even I'm not that cringe. So for Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week.
I think he is.